get started with this. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Give about a couple more minutes. No, I'm not battling with. Please understand, I'm not battling with suicide and depression. No more. I have. So just tune in, and you know. Alrighty, 7. So first off, I want to thank. What's good, my dude? Not out here to be nosy. Just showing love, my dude. Hey, bro, I appreciate that. All right. Hey, everybody doing? I thank everybody for tuning in to this. First off, let me make this clear. I'm not no preacher. I'm not no minister. I'm not none of that. I don't even consider myself a motivational speaker. I'm a guy that has been through enough and been through a lot to where, me coming out of it, all I want to do is just going forward is, help people. You know what I'm saying? Understand that with these two issues that I struggled with for so many years, you can come out of it too. So, anybody that knows me know I'm never the type of person to do anything. This is my first time ever opening up like this, talking about this. So if I I'm within my words or anything, just bear with me, even if I get emotional. But again, thank you all for the support. Today, I'm doing this live today to discuss two issues that I dealt with for so many years. It's suicide and depression. A lot of people really didn't know that I was dealing with this, that I have dealt with this, and that I was getting help for it. But now that I'm able to open up and talk about it, I decided to take my negatives, turn them into positives, and help people out that was kind of, like me, dealing with it like me, and, feel some type of way about coming out like I did. I dealt with depression for 17 years. A lot of people didn't know it. It started off when I was a kid. And dealing with that depression, ultimately, it brought out for the last 5 years, dealing with suicide. From attempting it to trying it. Since I was a kid, I'll get off into all that. So basically, this is the reason why that I decided to do this, and basically what I want to call these little segments that I'm gonna be doing every Friday. My grandma used to tell me it's a brighter day ahead, and so that's what I'm gonna be calling it. It's a brighter day ahead, but I'm going to be focusing around suicide and depression because those are two issues that I dealt with. Again, I dealt with depression for the last 17 years, and I dealt with suicide for the last 5. Dealing with depression, since I was a kid, I never felt accepted. Always felt I had to work harder than the next person. A lot of times it's talked about, but I know where it kind of stemmed from. If I'm all over the place, forgive me. But, comment, give me feedback, because, again, I'm taking what was negative in my life, and I'm using it in the capacity of trying to help other people. First off, never take for granted that a family member that you don't talk to, never take for granted that they're okay. If you ask somebody about me, 9 times out of 10 tell you, they'll be like, oh, he's good, this, and that. But I wasn't. What I would do was I would hide everything, wear a mask. I would mask everything, and I would bury stuff. So, since I was a kid, it kind of all started when a lot of people don't know that I didn't know who I met my real mom when I was about 8 or 9. I always thought that my sister mom was my mom, and when my mom and my dad divorced, a lot of things changed, and it caused a great deal of being depressed. So as a kid, when I felt depressed internally, what I would do externally is I would cut myself, because I always used to feel like, because I'm hurting on the inside, if I do something physical on the outside, it will it will make everything better. So I would cut myself. Problem was, it didn't. And if you ask a lot of people about me growing up, they would say, my Mike, he loved to fight. But as I got older, that's all he loved to do. He loved to fight. But in my lifetime, I had one person ask me, what was the problem? One asked me that never judged me, never said anything. So when that person asked me, what's going on, what's the issue, I would. Sorry about that. I thought about it like, what they asked me, why do I compete in mixed martial arts? Am I doing it because I love the sport, or am I doing it trying to hide something? And when I first got into mixed martial arts, I got into it based off of a situation. I had a lot of trust issues with people, and I didn't have an outlet. So if you ask a lot of guys that kind of sparred with me, teammates that I had, well-known guys in the UFC, one thing about me, they will always say I was tough. You couldn't knock me down. You know what I mean? And if you did, I'm never the type to stay down. I would get back up, and I'm calling you back out. Like, let's go. And ultimately, some of my better practices was always when I had situations going on. Why? Because internally, when I felt pain outside, and when I felt pain inside, outside, when I felt pain inside, outside, something had to be done. So anytime I'm ever dealing with something internally, I will go spar. And when I get hit, it's like I want more. Why? Because I'm hurting and I don't know how to cry. And a lot of times, you get people, that would say, because my granddaddy started Unity, my uncle's the pastor, you know better. Let me tell you something. That's the worst thing you could tell somebody. Because even though that, yes, being raised up in that type of environment, yes, that's my granddaddy, I still have my personal issues growing up. But we'll get off to all that. So basically, the two things that I dealt with so many years, I dealt with depression for 17 years, and I dealt with suicide for 5 years. My last episode dealing with suicide, where I really realized I needed help, was about I would say about 2 months ago. Trying to cut myself again, but not cut myself to harm myself, but cut myself to really do something. And I knew at that point I really needed help. And so a lot of people, I heard a little rumor saying that, I ran off to Dallas and this and that. But no, I went somewhere where I can get help, and I did. And when I got that help, then I was able to open up. But a lot of my depression issues started when I was a child. The first time I had sex, it wasn't consensual. I was raped by a chick. Yeah, I was raped. I was 10. She was about 14. I didn't want to do it, and it was done, and it changed me. And just with so many things, I had a bad habit of burying stuff. And what I learned that is a lot of people do that. You'll go through things, especially us men. We'll go through things and we'll try to bury them. So when I got the help, when I started getting help, going to support groups, my job here, they had support groups. They had people that I could talk to called chaplains. I would talk to the chaplains. I would ask the chaplains like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, and I need help. And so they did, pointed me in the right direction. So now I'm taking what was so negative, what I was so scared to talk about, far as with my depression issues, far as with suicide, constantly cutting myself. I didn't try to cut myself. I didn't try to. I even tried to shoot myself, and I kid you not, and just depressed. Um, Last year was a really bad year. It was a bad year for everybody, from people that I know, but it was a really bad year for me. Trying to provide as a father was really tough. I know a lot of you guys follow me, and I talk about my kids constantly. And in talking about my kids, last year was really difficult. From the job situation to, imagine you bringing in $500 a week, and because of old situation, half of that is being took. Then you got child support, you got this, and that, going on, and you literally left down to $20, right? But in turn, when you left down to that $20, you got your kids. So it'll be times where, and people didn't know this, it'll be times where I didn't eat, saving that $20 for my kids. Now I still got to make it to work. So I'm going to work, I'm not eating. I'm going to practice, I'm not eating. And I'm not telling anybody it is because I'm scared that people going to talk about me. Because it's like the first thing people want to say is, oh, this is the devil, that's the devil, and this, and that. People, please understand. If a person is coming, trying to get that help, listen to them. Don't form your own opinion. And that's what would happen a lot of times. So for years, I would just shut down. Like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. That was the whole thing that brought me to MMA. And I'm kind of going through this, kind of letting you guys know me, and I'll get into why I'm starting what I'm starting. And that's the whole reason why I got into MMA, because I needed an outlet. A lot of us need an outlet. And the first gym I got to was 0 to 100 Fitness. When I got to that gym, first thing I told Marlon was, I said, hey, man, I don't trust anybody. I don't. But I need an outlet. Because I'm going to end up either killing somebody or end up killing myself. And he took me in and kind of, dealt with me and dealt with a lot. And I'm kind of all over the place, but kind of bear with me. I really don't do this, but I'm doing this this is the thing. I'm doing this to show people that, it's okay to open up, because sometimes we need to. I learned that a lot of times when people with depression issues, they don't want to talk about them. They want to act like they're not there. Especially as men, we play tough. But at the end of the day, you need to open up about that. Being a kid, being confused, about, like why my parents had to divorce, why I had to find out that my mom isn't my mom, why I had to find out that my mom is a whole nother woman I barely even know, why? And in turn, growing up like that, yeah, it did cause a great deal of anger, but the first thing that people would say growing up was, had an anger issue. Didn't have an anger issue, I was just hurting, and I buried so much stuff to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. And with my last episode, a best friend of mine, constantly calling me on the phone, like, dude, pick up the phone. I'm not picking up the phone. He literally came to my house when I was in Milwaukee and was like, dude, if you don't come out, I'm coming in. And that's what he did. He came in, he got me, and we had a long talk. And that's what made me seek out the help. And when I did seek out the help, and when I started being open and honest and, and really dealing, then I kind of sat back and analyzed. And that's when I came up with that I'm going to do something called It's a Brighter Day Ahead. And my grandma used to say it all the time. So I say that every Friday for about 30 minutes. I just want to talk about different depressions, different people reached out to me that I kind of text about this idea, and they was like, hey, I want to be a part because I deal with this too. And so I said that, that'd be cool. So I said that every Friday. And really this is all, getting to know me, what I'm saying? And really all I want to do, whether I get 1 viewer, whether I get 30, whether I get 100, whatever, I just want people to know that deal with these two issues because they are real. People don't understand. Depression and suicide is real, and you would be surprised how many people deal with depression. And the ultimate form of depression leads to suicide. And again, never take for granted that family member you don't talk to. It's a lot of my family that do not talk to me. Please understand that. I get more support outside of my family than I do inside of my family. Why? Because I really don't talk like that. So with that being said, why? Because I used to have this thing of, well, I'm scared. I always hear you know better. The pastor's your uncle and your granddaddy, this, and that. And that's all cool, fine, and dandy. But at the same time, I have real issues that I was dealing with. And so with me dealing with them, I had to step out of my comfort zone and really go seek some help. And when I did, the blessings that came behind it is unreal. And so again, that's when I said that I was going to start this It's a Brighter Day Ahead, because it is. My grandma used to say it all the time, and I never understood it. And it ain't that I didn't understand it, but I didn't. I've always asked myself when, and to be honest, it's a brighter day ahead when you change your mind and when you get out of yourself. But again, for me, and I had to take notes. For me, with dealing with depression for 17 years, it was confusion on why me. It was a confusion on always trying to be accepted. It was confusion on, like why I can't be a part of this social group, why I can't be a part of that social group. And at the end of the day, you just have to realize sometimes, what you go through, it make you. And for me, I went through so much, and it got to the point where it became too much. And so, like I said, that's when I started seeking out help, the support groups. And when I did, first off, I want to thank, real quick, my old coach Marlon, who's seen firsthand, then after leaving, that gym and going to Pure Vita, Coach Jake taking me in and understanding the type of person I am and being there. People like Mr. Morgan, the Evolve Church, Pastor Ken, really not being in a sense of being my cousin, but being that role model and saying and understanding what I was dealing with and nurturing and kind of being there. So thanking people like that. But anyway, again, for those that just came in, the two issues that I dealt with for so many years was depression for 17 years, suicide for about 5, and again, when I really knew that I needed help, I seeked it out. And my thing is, the reason why I'm doing this, because I want people to understand that, for one, you're not alone. There's so many people that deal with this that feel like, man, you know what, I'm alone. Don't nobody understand. No, people do understand. You just got to open up. You'll be surprised, man, what just checking on somebody would do. And again, this first is really just, kind of getting to know me and understand why I'm doing this. And I know I'm probably all over the place, but again, this is the first time I ever opened up about this, but I'm being open and transparent like this because I want people to understand I've been there. Again, I'm not no preacher, I'm not no minister, I'm not none of that. I'm just a guy that been through a hell of a lot, and now I'm opening it up and I'm letting people know, like, dude, if I can get through this, you can get through this, and for one, we have to understand that or at least for me, what I had to understand is, I'm not my situation. There's nothing more tough as a black man with kids when you're trying to provide for your kids, and you really can't. It brings about just some unreal feelings. You get some unreal thoughts. And I'm telling you, as much as I love my kids, if I can't help myself, how would I be able to really do for them? But we'll get off to all that. Again, with depression, right? It's two different types of depression. So it's mental and it's situational. Situational, what I learned, situational, it may be that trigger. It may be something that person's going through internally. Mental, kind of a disability that they don't understand. But the very most common ones, is depressed modes, lack of interest in activity, change of weight, change of sleep, fatigue, feeling worthless, difficulty concentrating, you know what I'm saying, and ultimately thoughts of death and suicide. And a lot of those, you know what I'm saying, is kind of what I was dealing with. So that's why I took this time to, you know, be able to open up about this and, you know, let people know, like, hey, this is real. Because, again, you know, a lot of people that know me personally, if you ask them about me, they would say, you know, he'll to himself a lot, you know, that might love to fight, but, you know, he to himself a lot. But nobody ever asked the question why. Why is because for so many years I held stuff in. You know what I mean? And that's like a no-no. If you the type of person right now that's watching this, and you the type of person that holding in a lot, don't do that. Because you're doing more harm than helping. Find that support group, you know. Open up. The big game changer for me was, I would say like the biggest game changer for me is when my dad and my sister's mom divorced. Because again, a lot of people don't know, but my son Dede, even though that Dede is not my biological son, he's my son. And one thing I expressed to Dede, I said, hey, no matter what happens beyond this point, you will always be my son. Always. You know, my daughters, Danielle, Destiny, y'all will always be my kids. And growing up, it wasn't like that. A lot of things changed when my mom and, when my dad and my sister's mom, when they divorced, a lot of things changed. You know, for whatever the reason, you know, she, you know, kind of distanced herself from me, you know, and she, you know, she had her reason. But at the end of the day, as a kid, I didn't understand that, and it caused a lot of harm. Like I said, I didn't understand. So what I used to do, I used to cut myself. Because I used to feel like if I'm feeling pain internally, then externally, yeah, how you doing? Good morning, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. Please understand, I'm not suicidal anymore. I'm not depressed anymore. I'm doing this, being open with people, because there are a lot of people that are dealing with this. That boss that you have at work, that cousin that you rarely talk to, that person that's in jail. It's a lot of people dealing with this, and they don't have nobody to talk to. It's a lot of people that was just like me, keeping everything in, not talking to nobody, and ultimately it caused me to cause a great deal of harm to myself, because I felt like if I'm dealing with something internally, if I hurt myself outside, it'll outweigh the pain inside. But it never did. It just made things worse, to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. You know, to the point where it was like, you know what? I need this help. So after I end up getting the help for it, you know what I'm saying, and going to the support groups, talking to different ones. And if I'm all over the place, I apologize. Again, I don't really do this, but I felt like me opening up, since I know a lot of people, I felt like me opening up about this will open up a lot of eyes. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody somewhere, somebody watching this live, they're dealing with this, you know. But hopefully me opening up about what I was dealing with will help them to seek out their help for what they are dealing with. And just to let them know, like, dude, if I can do it, you can do it. If you are going through a depressed time right now and really don't have nobody to talk to, or really don't feel comfortable to talk to, seek out some support groups. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You know what I'm saying? Talk to them family members. You know what I mean? And then to the family members, if somebody is trying to come talk to you, don't cut them off. Let them speak. Even if you don't understand, be there. Because you don't know what that little 5 minutes of you listening can do. That little 7 minutes of you listening can do. That little 10 minutes of you listening can do. Because I'm telling you, never take for granted that a person is okay. Even if it seems like. One thing about me, I always wore a mask. You know, I would go out places. You can never tell stuff was going on with me. I would never say anything. It's times where I would go to work for weeks, right? Literally. And days, and I wouldn't eat. I would just drink water. You wouldn't know why, because it was like 1 week I don't have my kids, next week I do. And on the weeks that I have my kids, it was either me, it was either me taking this money that I have and doing for myself, or me saving it and giving it to my children. And for me, my kids come first. So I would save it and I would give it to them. You know, even if it took away from me and not eating, you know. But that's neither here nor there. I'll get off into all that when I talk about another form of depression, dealing with that. So, you know, again, I decided to, you know, I decided to start doing these little episodes of It's a Brighter Day Ahead, dealing with different forms of depression and suicide, you know, ultimately. Well, dealing with different forms of depression, you know, but also dealing with areas of suicide. Because it's real, and people don't understand that, man. And people don't understand, like, you know, again, that family member that you taking for granted, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people was probably seeing this live, that some is my family, and they like, man, I didn't know he was going through this, you know, I didn't know this, and I didn't know that. Well, you didn't check, you know, and never assume. You know, again, and I don't knock anybody because everybody, it's their right for how they feel, and it's their right for, you know, wherever, you know what I'm saying, for whatever, for them not checking. And I'm not doing this for any. Please understand, when I get off this live, I don't need a whole bunch of messages saying, are you okay? I'm good. I'm being open and honest about me, hoping that my story and everything that I would talk about every Friday for just about 30 good minutes, I just wanted to help somebody. That's why I'm doing this. So if you're going through something and you just don't understand, man, and it's a subject that you're going through, inbox it to me. If I don't have the answer to it, I got more than enough people that I have talked to about what I want to do that they're going with it. And anybody that I will bring that will talk about their personals, you know, whether it's depression of a barber, depression of a husband, depression of a wife, you know, depression of a child, depression of a baby mama, whoever I will bring, they're going to be very transparent. They're going to be open and honest. And whether I got 1 viewer, 10 viewers, 13 viewers, 20 viewers, I don't care. Long as it touches somebody. Because at the end of the day, I never want nobody in the position that I was in. And if I get emotional behind it, I don't apologize for it because, again, this stuff is real, man. You know what I'm saying? It's so many people that deal with this and they don't have nobody to go to. So I'm doing these lives. I'm talking about my issues, you know, that I had, you know what I mean, hoping that it touched somebody or open up somebody's eyes. Because, yes, I'm good now, but for 17 years dealing with depression, I wasn't. I was angry. I was upset. I felt like nobody understood. When I was a child, I probably for like the last 4 years is when I got in shape. But for years, I was always the fat cousin, you know. I was always talked about. So I just learned how to read and fight. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? You hear people that be like, you know, he only be like that way because I heard for the last 3 years that I was only the way that I was because of mixed martial arts, not knowing if you went to school with me, if you grew up with me, I always was the type to fight. Why? Because I was hurting internally. So I felt like either causing harm to myself would make me feel better or causing harm to somebody else would make me feel better. And it did. It just made things worse. But again, I'm starting this It's a Brighter Day Ahead thing. For one, because it is. And for two, I just want people to know that you're not alone, man. If whoever watching this live, if you're dealing with something, you know what I mean? And you feel like you're alone, trust me, you're not, man. Again, I don't want nobody calling me after this or messaging me saying, hey, you good? I'm good, trust me. I'm just a man that been through things and been through enough shit, excuse my language, to where now I want to take everything that I've been through, change the negative and turn it into a positive because I want it to impact somebody. So please understand, those that are watching this, every Friday, this was just an introduction to what I'm going to do. I'm calling it It's a Brighter Day Ahead, and the two subjects I'm always focus around is suicide or depression, and I'm gonna have people, I'm gonna bring them, you know, and they're gonna talk about their issues for about 30 minutes. You know, if it go a little longer, cool. But it's not about me and what I've been through. I just ask myself, what is my purpose in life? Because everything that I tried to do, it was always blocked. But when I had this idea and I brought it to a favorite cousin of mine, he like, dude, just go for it. I hear people tell me all the time, man, you should write a book, this and that, you know, about your life. And I always say, man, my life ain't that exciting. But You know, I'm doing this, man, because I'm just hoping whoever watches, man, it touches you. And if it don't, I hope it open up your eyes. Because understand this, depression is real. And the ultimate form of depression is suicide. And I've been there. So I feel like that, you know, my purpose in life is to take what I done been through. Because again, excuse my language, I done been through enough shit in my life to where now that I feel comfortable talking about it, it's going to help somebody. Now, you're going to get two type of people that's going to watch this live. You're going to get people that's going to watch it and understand, like, you know what, the movement I'm trying to bring, you know, the lives I'm trying to change. And then you're going to get others that's going to see it and be like, oh, man, and talk about it. And that's cool, because if my name is in your mouth after this, you know, that means I did something right. Good. Keep spreading. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody for listening to this little 30 minutes. But understand, every Friday at 7 o'clock, whether I got somebody, we're going to talk about different forms of depression. We're going to talk about suicide, you know, because those are two subjects that people take for granted and they don't open up about. It's a lot of people that deal with depression and they be in denial about it. You know, like, no, I'm not really going through this. Yes, you are, and you need to open up about it. So, you know, one week I may do, hey, I'm going to have somebody, depression of what it is dealing with being a teacher, what it is dealing with being a business owner, you know, and have somebody owner in that capacity like that to be able to give you their story and what they've been through. And if I've been through some of the similar things to whatever subject I bring about, you know, we talk about them. But to ultimately, whether I get 1 viewer, 10 viewers, 20 viewers, 50 viewers, I don't care. I just want to be able to touch and impact lives. So I appreciate this little time you all tuning into this, and please understand that the movement that I'm trying to do, you know what I'm saying, ultimately I'm just trying to help people, and I'm using things that I've been through in my lifetime to be able to help people. I want people to see these lives and know, like, okay, I know dude. I didn't know he was going through that. Man, I'm glad he got going through that, you know, and be able to open up and be honest. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to do, you know, and not feel like you being judged. For so many years I felt like I was being judged. For so many years I felt like nobody understood. The worst thing you can tell a person that's trying to come to you for help is, you know better. No, I didn't. Let me make this clear. Yes, Elbridge was my grandfather. Yes, Marlon Locke is my uncle. But at the end of the day, I'm a grown-ass man that done been through some things. And at the end of the day, yes, I grew up in the capacity church, but I have my own struggles. So the worst thing you can tell a person, again, that's going through things, you know what I'm saying, especially if there's a preacher's kid, is that they know better. Because no, we got our own struggles. But that's neither here nor there. That's a whole nother topic. But what I'm saying is, I'm doing this. It's in a brighter day ahead movement. For one, rest in peace to my grandmother. She used to always say that all the time. It's a brighter day ahead. And now I believe that. And I really believe that my purpose in life is what I'm starting to do. You know, start this movement of dealing with depression and suicide, because I want people to know that watch this live, that you're not alone. You are not your situations. So every Friday at 7 o'clock, tune in with me for about 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you're dealing with, just know it's a brighter day ahead. And like my grandma pretty used to always say growing up, if nobody told you that they love you, I love you. And please understand, whether I know you, whether I don't know you, I still love you, because you took time out to listen to this and understand this. And each time I bring this about, you'll get to know me a little bit more. But please understand, you're not alone. So if you're dealing with depression right now, if you're dealing with suicidal thoughts, man, reach out. Get help. Talk to somebody you feel comfortable doing, because it's real. It's a suicide hotline that goes around on Facebook. Man, if you're feeling that way, don't be in denial about it. Get help with it. Don't be like me and deal with depression for 17 years and deal with suicidal thoughts for 5 years. Don't be that way. Don't let it be that long. Because again, because of that, I went through so many struggles in life. So many. But when I sought out that help and I got that help, you would be surprised the amount of blessings that came behind getting that help. So now I want to take everything that I dealt with, that I've been with, and I want to turn a negative into a positive. So share this. I know I was kind of all over the place. I don't do this. I don't openly speak. I don't do none of that. You know, if you talk to me, I'll talk to you. If you don't, cool. That's how I've always been. But just working on myself and working on my trust with people. Now I'm opening up about my issues that I have had, my struggles that I have had, hoping that people hear them and they get help from them. And again, every Friday at 7 p.m., whether I have somebody on here or not, and when I do, they'll be just as transparent and it'll get real. Some people might not agree with this. Some people may do. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Because all I want to do is help people that dealt with stuff. Just like me, that's dealing with things and feeling like nobody understands. Because trust me, I understand. Male, female, child, I get it. I've been there, and all I want to do is help people. So I appreciate you guys for listening in on this first episode of It's a Brighter Day Ahead, and dealing with depression and suicide. And as we go on every Friday, because this will be continuing. If you're dealing with something and you want me to talk about it, I'm not gonna bring your name into it, but I'll talk about it. And if I don't got the answers to it, I'm gonna bring somebody on here that does, and we're gonna talk about it. And hopefully it help you, because that's what all this is about, just helping people. There's too much hate in this world, way too much hate in this world. So this is my way of showing love, even if I don't know you, talking about my issues that I dealt with, as far as with divorce, as far as issue of being my father's child, as far as issue of feeling like a mother will never love me, as far as my issues of being raped, as far as my issue of trying to cut myself. I'm taking my personal issues that I dealt with in my lifetime, as far as my issues of not being able to provide for my kids at one point. That's a subject in itself. As far as my issues and depression of being a preacher's child, as far as my issues and depression of trying to be in certain groups, I hope that everything that I share each Friday will help somebody, because that's all I want to do. I want to help people, and this is the way to do it, using things that I've been through to expose myself, hoping that it helps you. So again, if nobody told you guys that they love you, I truly do. Whether I know you or not, I love you, man, because it's a brighter day ahead and you are not your situation. So tune in every single Friday. Like and share this and give me feedback. Give me comment. One thing about me, I can take constructive criticism. If you felt like I did something wrong, if you felt like I said something in a certain way, anything, man, share it to me, because this is something that's going to be ongoing. Again, I'm taking everything that I dealt with in life and I'm taking it from negative and turning it to positive, because at the end of the day, all I want to do is help people to be able to come out of that mindset of it's over, because it's not over. It just got started. So again, I thank you all. And again, like I said in the beginning, for y'all that just came in, I'm not no preacher, I'm not no minister, I'm not none of that. I'm just a man that has been through enough shit to the point where I'm taking everything that I dealt with and I'm turning it around for good. I'm turning it around for positive, and I'm just trying to help the next person. So whatever they dealing with mentally, they come out of it. So again, I appreciate you guys so much for taking a little time that you did to come in. And week by week, we're going to talk about different subjects of depression, people dealing with suicide, that dealt with suicide, that came out of it, the steps that came out of it, the steps that I came out of. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys taking the time, and I'll holler. And again, if nobody told you that they love you, man, I truly love you. Love, peace, and soul. All right?